Example number 1. Sketch a graph of each line. 2x plus 5. We're looking at the y-intercept, which is 5. You know that it's going to go through 5. So here's my point. Also, you know that the slope is 2 over 1. That means that 2 up, 1 to the right. So from this point, we're going to go 2 up, 1 across. However, we don't have enough space on the graph to do that. So if that was the case, it's going to go 1, 2, 1. So a point should be somewhere right there. Well, you can do the same thing by reversing it. 2 down, 1 to the left. If you don't have enough space, it's a cheating way of doing it. Okay, it's a Russian lazy way of doing it. So it's going to go 2 down, 1 to the left. You never want to go to the left unless you're doing it in reverse. So 2 down, 1 to the left, 2 down, 1 to the left, and so forth. 2 down, 1 to the left. And I'm going to create an array of points. Now, you got to connect them. Don't do what I do and use a permanent ink to do it, okay? Don't try this at home. I'm a professional, and I've done it many times, okay? It's very dangerous if you don't do it right. And here you go. Again, what's the slope? Our slope is 2 over 1. 1, 2 over 1. 1, 2 over 1. You see, it makes sense. It lines up. That's the answer. Question number 2, example number 2, you get negative 1/2 x plus 2. Again, we start at positive 2. This is our starting point, okay? This is our starting point, plus 2. And now our slope is negative 1 over 2. That means you go 1 down, 2 across. And this is pretty easy. 1 down, 1, 2 across. Right here's a point. 1 down, 1, 2 across. There's a point. 1 down, 2 across. There's a point. And you can create an array of points just like that. Okay? And they're all going to be on the same line. They're all going to be on the same line. See, I'm already going off the line. And that's it. Go past the points. This is it. Now, in this example, example number 7, we are given 2 linear equations. And all we got to do is graph them and find out where they intersect. That will be your answer. This is what we call solving systems of equation by graphing. So first, we're going to graph the first one. I can even go in. First one will be done in blue. Second one will be done in, say, green. Doesn't matter which colors I pick. Doesn't have to be in color, in fact. So we're going to start with this one, plus 8. I know that my equation will start at, my blue line will start at point 8. Now, I need to figure out my slope. 7 up and 4 to the right. So if I start from here, go 7 units up, 4 to the right, my point should be somewhere right here. But it's off the grid that's given me. Keep in mind that this is an infinite field. So you shouldn't be bounded by 10 by 10. It's supposed to be it can be million by million if you want to. I just don't have that kind of paper here. Well, let's do a Russian cheating way of this problem. If it's 7 up, 4 to the right doesn't work, then we're going to try 7 down, 4 to the left. Okay, so we're going to go from this point, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my next point. 7 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Those are my 3 points, and I need to connect them with a straight line and make sure my line extends past those points. This is my first equation. I marked it with the blue. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing on the green equation. So we start at -9. Keep in mind, this is -9, which is right here. -2, -4, -6, -8. Our unit is 1. And then our slope is 3/8 with a negative sign. So that means it's going to go 3 down, 8 across. So I'm going to go from here, 1, 2, 3, 8 across. My point should be somewhere right there. Unfortunately, again, I cannot do it because my graph is too small for it. So I'm going to reverse it. It's going to go 3 up, 8 to the left then. Let's see how that works out. 3 up, 1, 2, 3, 8 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's this point right here. How convenient. So now all I got to do is I got to connect these points right here. Okay? I'm connecting them. And then identify where the two lines intersect. They're intersecting at this point. All you got to do is you got to count. You got to count. And we're going to count with x first. So it's going to go -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8. So my answer is going to be -8 on the x, and then I'm going to go down. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6 on the y. That's the answer. Example 8. 1/4 x minus 3. We're going to graph it. I'm going to mark it as a blue, and I'm going to mark the other equation as a green one. So let's go ahead and get it done. -3, we can start here. My slope is 1 up, 4 across. Perfect. Look at that. 1 up, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 across. 1 down, 4 to the left, just to make sure we have a nice straight line. Then with the green, our slope is 1 up, 4 across as well, but this time it starts at +1. 1 up, 4 across, and this way. So guess what? Our two lines are running perfectly parallel. Now, our goal is to find out where they intersect. The answer is no intersection. Sorry, that's not the answer. No intersection. The answer is no solution. The reason why is no solution is because these two will never intersect. And here's how I can tell. If the slopes of the line are the same, of both lines, they'll never intersect. Example 21. Uber company charges a flat rate of $10 and an additional $3 per mile. Write an equation to represent this scenario in terms of y equals mx plus b. Now, if the flat rate is $10, and that means that, see, it's a B. It's your starting point. You start at $10. You call Uber guy, and it tells you, okay, well, just because I got here is $10. So you know it's going to be y equals something plus 10. It's your starting. Now, each mile you drive, he charges $3. That needs to be multiplied by a variable. So our m is our slope, our rate. Our rate is $3 per mile. So it's 3x plus 10. Next question. How much will it cost to drive for 11 miles? Well, cost is going to be our y. So we can write down that x equals miles and y is the cost. Okay, so now how much will it cost? So it's going to be y equals, we know it's 3x plus 10 is our parent function, so I'm going to write down 3, and we're going to plug in here 11 plus 10. Why did I put 11? Because we're driving for 11 miles. We're going to figure out how much it will cost. This is a formula. It's a nice calculator. Y equals 3 times 11 is 33 plus 10. And 33 plus 10 is 43. So $43. Okay, that's your answer for 11 miles. This is how much it's gonna cost you. Now, here's a question. How far can you go on a $40 budget? Now we need to figure out miles. We don't know how many miles, but we know that y equals 40. So I'm gonna write down, instead of y, I'm going to write down 40. I'm going to write down 40 equals 3x plus 10. Now I just need to solve this linear equation, just one, it's a multiple step equation. So first thing I'm going to do is subtract 10 from both sides. Okay, we've done this plenty in the previous practice problems. So, so these two are canceled. 30 equals 3x. Okay, I'm going to move on to here. I'm going to rewrite it. 30 equals 3x. And next I'm going to do is divide both sides by 3. 30 divided by 3 is 10 equals x. So the answer is, how far can we go? 10 miles. Next question says, use the coordinate plane below to graph this problem and interpret the graph. So it's given to us in the first quadrant only, where everything is positive. We're not dealing with negative numbers. So we're starting with, I'm going to write it right here, y equals 3x plus 10. Okay, my starting point is 10. Look, this one is our y-axis, and y-axis is dollars. We mark it as dollars. And x-axis we're going to mark as miles. So we're going to start with how much will it cost you. Starting point is $10, so I'm going to put it right here. And I know that my slope is 3/1. So that means that I go up 3 across 1. So 13/1, okay? Then up 3, 13 plus 3 is 16, is 2. Then again, 1, 2, 3, 3. And notice here that I'm going in between, because 1 unit here, 1 square represents 2 units. So we go from, here we go. So we go from 10 to 12, 12 to 14, and between 12 and 14 is 13. We're going up by 3s, right? So we're going to keep going in the same pace. Again, this one was 19 plus 3 is 22. There you go. 22 is plus 3 is 25. There you go. So here's how my graph looks like. If I drew a line, this is what my graph is gonna look like. The more miles you drive, the more the cost is. Okay, so let's see. After driving for 10 miles, where are my miles? 10 miles, $40. There you go. You see this? $40 match 10 miles. Last example, number 22, reads like this. You plan to start a business of selling hats at a swap meet. You rent a booth for $35 in one day and start selling hats at $15 per hat. Write an equation to represent the situation. Now, you're talking about income and outcome. You spent $35. Since you spent $35, your equation will look something like this. Y equals something x minus 35, because you spend, this is your one-time fee. But then also you start making money, which means you're going into positives, by selling $15 per hat. So it's 15 X, okay? Once again, Y equals your money and X equals your hats. If you feel comfortable, you can replace X with the variable H for your records. I'm going to stick with Y equals MX plus B scenario. A, what is your total profit after selling 8 hats? Again, I need to find out my Y because X equals 8. Okay, so I'm going to write down X equals 8 here. So now we're going to do Y equals 15X minus 35. And instead of X, I'm going to write down times 8 because that's how much money I'm going to generate. Keep in mind that that's 35 just going to come out of your like daily rent or something like that. Okay, so 15 times 8, so we're going to go Y equals 120 minus 35. So 120 minus 35, which means Y equals $85, right? So 85, the answer is $85 profit after you pay your wages and rents and bills and all that kind of stuff. Not bad. How many hats do you need to sell for B, right? How many hats do you need to sell to get in the positive or start gaining money? And for that means Y equals 0. Let's say break-even point, and we're just going to add a round to the nearest hat, whole hat, once we get to it, okay? So it's going to be 0 equals 15x minus 35. We're going to add 35 to both sides. So you're going to get 15x. So we're going to write down here 35 equals 15x. And next step is divide. So I'm going to rewrite it 35 equals 15x. Next step is divide both sides by 15. X equals 2.3, which means just a little over 2 hats you need to sell. You can't really sell 0.3 of a hat, so your answer is going to be 3 hats. Question C, you get a graph, and again, we're going to label y-axis as your money and x-axis as hats sold. And notice that you get 15x minus 35. That's your equation. And here we are going into negatives. Where do we start? We start at negative 35. You don't make any money. You just buy the space. Now it's up to you to make money and sell hats. $15 per hat. So each square here is 15. Up and down. 1, 2, 5, 10, 15. That's what happens after you sell 1 hat. Now you're at negative $20. Then 1, 2, 3, 1. After selling 2 hats, you are at negative 5, 2, 3. And you make $10 after selling 1, 2, 3 hats. Keep on going just like this. And this is your graph. So after selling 5 hats, for example, you make $40.